Microphone checker.
Hi folks, Ed here, and figured we'd talk a little bit about why I think it's important to know your history. We're going to cover a lot of different historical events and why history is important. Um, a lot on this channel. When things are in the news, we'll talk about them. Something comes up that is old news, but I think it's important. We'll talk about that too. But I just wanted to take a minute to try and give a little overview as to why I think it's so important to know your history. Obviously, everyone should know that if you don't know your history, then you're at risk to repeat it, or referencing the mistakes there. But it's sometimes to see what's going on, you have to be able to take a step back from the situation you're in to really understand, the consequences and what the real options are. And that's why with age comes experience and wisdom, not just knowledge. But so by being able to study, history from the very beginning all the way up until now, and then picking different things to learn and focus on and understand, you start to see patterns. And it can help you really determine how like the election that we have going on right now, Donald and Hillary. Most people are voting based on who they don't want in office more, not who they want in office more. And we get freaked out about these things. And I feel like if everyone knew their history better, they would have seen these cycles play out in other cultures in other times throughout history. And it makes things a little bit less scary. Potentially, yes, it still could be scary consequences, but knowing that we've been through tough things in the past, the Bay of Pigs thing and the Cuban Missile Crisis is what I was really referring to, was a potential devastating thing for the species, but we got through it, and that's what I mean. So you can really help gain perspective as to what's going on by knowing the past. And furthermore, we're also going to talk a lot on this channel about religion. Now, I think that history and religion are very kind of tied together somehow. For instance, if you understood more about history, and not just your own history, but the history of different cultures that have lived on this planet throughout time, you start to understand that the religions, the three big ones that people believe in today of Abraham, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, they all started within a reasonable amount of time from each other. I don't know exactly when Judaism started, but then Christianity came next, and then after that was Islam. And a lot of people tend to forget that there were a lot of other civilizations that had a lot more other gods, going back a lot further in time. And it just seems to me that if people understood history better, they'd be less susceptible to falling for this crazy nonsense of virgin births and resurrections and constant oversight and supervision and eternal damnation. I mean, it's fucking out of control, people. And when this much of the world is under this spell of this nonsense, what ends up happening is we end up structuring our society to fit into these beliefs and these rules and systems that build up around religion. It creates hatred for people. And like I said, to me, it's so clear that as you learn more and more about human history, it just seems less and less likely that those religions could be true. And they burden society with unnecessary rules, unnecessary hatred. It's insane. We could be further along in the science of medicine and healing human beings and animals if we didn't have the religious beliefs of policymakers getting in the way of, say, stem cell research and things like that, controversial things to religious folks that are plain, simple, logical things to some of us, us non-religious people. So I think it's very important to know your history to gain perspective on situations, make better decisions, and like with religion, if you knew more about history, you might be able to make better religious or spiritual type of decisions for yourself. But to me, it's very clear. Understanding your history will help you avoid, crazy shit like religion that's just going to fuck up the world. And it also helps you understand politics and social issues. And you have a problem with one of your friends or a family member. Well, knowing things about history, there have been plenty of people who have had the same problems. You can gain insight from that. So we're going to study a lot about history. We're going to talk about how much I hate religion, but like I said, history is very important for many different reasons, and that's some of the reasons why we're going to be discussing so much history on this channel.